I'm just kind of curious, how many of you have a bank account with a debit card? Is that, well, more than I kind of expected? Victoria? Yeah? Okay, cool. How many of you guys are saving? How many of you guys are save money? Good, good, good. How many of you guys pay your bills pretty much on time? Yeah? More like every time. How many of you take some of your money and plan on how to be a blessing to somebody? Yeah? It does, it does. The church better be doing some awesome stuff with that money, right? It does count. Now, the reason I ask, because we have just made it possible for us to give our money to the church through texting and through website, through our gospellifechurch.com website, and also through our Facebook page. I just want to know, for you young people, is that something you guys would use or want to know about? Because I would need to kind of take some time, not this week, but some week soon, to show you how to use it. Once you use it, I really love it because my wife and I, oftentimes we want to give and we don't carry cash. So it's really helpful for us because if there's a spontaneous opportunity to give, we have the opportunity to give. So once you get it set up, all you got to do is you go to your texting, go to a particular number that you already have saved under GL Give or GNL Give, however, and then you type in give, $, and whatever amount. Hit send, and you're done. Does that sound awesome? It's like something you guys be interested in using? Yeah? Well, you can use Monopoly money. You can use clams, whatever. Yeah, yeah. And you will. So, okay, I'll share that with you in the weeks ahead. But I'm kind of excited about that. It's going to make it easier for a lot of us to give. Quick announcement, we have an Easter egg hunt coming up for our city, which we've been doing for several years now. It's going to be at Civic Center Park on April 4th. That's Saturday. Beginning for the people who are going to be actually attending with kids and such, it's going to be start at 12 noon. We'll be there earlier to set up, of course. But if you know children, young people that might enjoy going to an Easter egg hunt, it's pretty cool. Several of our churches get together and we do this. Yes, definitely too old. Civic Center Park, your Aunt Pam knows all about it. So it's a way to reach out to the city. If you have neighbors, kids that you think might be interested in that, please let them know. I'm not taking, real quick. Civic Center Park is on 13 Mile and John R. Okay, Aunt Pam definitely knows where that is. Now, moving on, but Aunt Pam has all the details, okay? You can see me afterwards. I'll answer all your questions as well. Like I said, we have a very special speaker tonight. Back, actually here, by popular demand, actually, you recall recently I had the opportunity to go after the guys, and part of the response was, hey, when are you going to go after the girls, right? And my wife, my personal opinion is that she has a lot of wisdom. She continually inspires me. She continually surprises me with her analysis and the things that she has to say. So I greatly profit from her spirituality, from her Christian faith, her walk, and I want you to tonight as well. So she's going to be talking about relationships. She's going to be talking about what it means to be a woman, and I want you to give her your full attention. I would like to open up for questions at the end, so perhaps you'll disagree on something, and I'm totally fine with disagreeing. What I'd like when people disagree is to have a good reason, because feeling is not a sufficient reason for me to perhaps change my position on something. I need something rock solid. So would like to open up for questions, but without further ado, I'd like to ask Rebecca. Can we give her a warm round of applause? And for the microphone, if you would, just wear that for us.
All right. Okay, wow. This will be fun. Yeah, well, I'm going to ramble a lot. That's what I do. But there will be bits and pieces that are helpful. Um, so, okay, first of all, for all you haters, the Bible has a lot to say about women, and it's not what you think. The Bible is not male chauvinistic. So, I know a lot of like Christian guys are like real staunch, like women should be quiet, and like women should submit, and like that's pretty much all they think of women. And yeah, it's not really true. Women are important to God, okay? Throughout Scripture, it shows this. Adam, as you recall, the first man, was no good without a woman. Remember what God said? Then the Lord said, it's not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper who is just right. So, it's pretty cool if you like go through Scripture and think about God's view of women and what a woman should be. It's totally not what society perceives. Okay. All right, please don't. Okay. Oh man, I can't take him anywhere. So I just want to open up first with just some women in Scripture and what they were like and what God thought of them. So first of all, Sarah, Eve, of course, she was, she let us all down, ate the fruit, all that stuff. But, I mean, Adam got punished too, okay? So Adam was sleeping on the job on that one. Yeah, he was. So I know, someone's texting me. Someone who didn't get a ride here is texting me right now. Sarah, Abraham's wife. Y'all know her? Everyone always thinks one thing about her, that she was really old, she had a baby, and she laughed at God, right? That's pretty much how you sum up Sarah. Well, what about, she went through a lot. Oh, my hair, sorry. Okay, Sarah went through a lot. She was married to a righteous man, right? Abraham was a great man. Well, think about this. He uprooted her, okay? Took her to a foreign land. They're wandering this whole time. A lot of times they don't have enough, they're living in tents. They don't have enough land for their servants and their family servants. There's all kinds of fights. Abraham twice told other people, oh yeah, that's not my wife, you can take her. I mean, hello? He totally slept on his job too. Then, what else did she have to put up with? Yeah, he had an affair. She gave him permission, but if we know anything about women, we know that women say things, and men shouldn't take that always literal. You know what I mean? I'm fine, right? Everyone knows that that's not true. What? Yes, Hagar. So anyway, then her servant got pregnant, and then when Abraham started paying attention to her Hagar and her son, he wondered why Sarah was bitter. That's really hard. Women don't like competition, especially from their man. No way. So anyway, that's one example. Sarah. She was actually very strong, though. In Hebrews, God talks about her as a righteous woman, and she's in the hall of faith. Rahab. Who knows who Rahab is? I see 3 hands. Andre. Oh, I know who you're thinking of, but no, I'm getting to her. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. She was she was a prostitute, but she hid the spies who were spying on Jericho, and she she made a deal with them that she would hang a red cord out her window and they wouldn't kill her. So they killed everyone else in her city but not her, because she actually feared God and saved 12 guys, right? She saved 12 guys' lives. So, I mean, that's courageous. She might have, had her shortcomings, but she was actually in Jesus' lineage. Another woman was Ruth. There's many awesome things to say about Ruth. She is beautiful. She's loyal. She followed her mother-in-law. Like, that's a really hard one, mother-in-laws, right? But she actually loved her mother-in-law and followed her around, submitted to her, and basically took care of her. Another one, Bathsheba. I like Bathsheba. I named my dog after her. But she was actually, she ended up being in Jesus' genealogy. She was like, I don't really understand this story. I mean, sure, Israel was back then, but I mean, she was taking a bath and the king saw her and then had an affair with her and then all this stuff. Who does that outside? I don't know. I think she kind of had motives, you know what I'm saying? Another woman is Mary, Jesus' mom, right? There's a lot of good things to say about Mary, a lot of good things. She was blessed. I mean, God chose her to be his son's mother. She was a very awesome woman. And I mean, there are many, many examples. I was just like listing a million, but that's not really my talk. But I just wanted to say that the Bible has a lot to say about women, like, and there are many examples of women that aren't just quiet and meek and do nothing. They're like warriors, and they're very strong and feminine as well. Another thing about Scripture is, if you think about, well, sorry, I told you I was rambling. One thing that I thought was really, really awesome is that when Jesus was on the cross, you know, one of the things that he thought about? He looked at his mom. First of all, most of the disciples had scattered, you know. But who was at the foot of the cross? Lots of women. What? Because it's in the Bible. It recounts it from witnesses. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm just a girl. I can't answer. Just kidding. But Jesus, okay, so in Luke it says, standing near the cross were Jesus' mother, his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her, "Dear woman, here is your son." And he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from then on, his disciples took her into his home. To me, that says that's a big deal, that Jesus, as he was leaving earth, was like making sure that the women in his care were well cared for. Not that they're weak. Obviously, Mary was a very strong woman, but he wanted to make sure that she was loved and protected when he was gone. And I think that shows, that's one instance that shows Jesus really was a gentleman, you know? Also, another instance about women is they were the first to find him risen from the dead. They kept believing. They kept the faith. You know, they knew they were going to, you know, anoint his body, and then they found that the stone had been rolled away, and they're the ones who reported back to all the disciples. You know, I just think that's really beautiful, and I think that we have to just read critically when we think of Scripture. And there are different commands about like roles for women and roles for men, but that doesn't mean that we should ignore all these other things about women. I think one of the biggest things about femininity is strength. And I think that seems like it could be, you know, not a controversial, like, oh yeah, well, women are supposed to be weak and not be able to defend themselves or anything like that. But in trueness, femininity is strength. I'm going to read a quote about feminine energy. There's like two differences, and like you can read about even in like feminine energy is like life-giving. Masculine energy is fierce and, you know, like dark and like protective. But feminine energy causes things to flourish and grow. Feminine energy is like fire. It can be warm and create an intimate atmosphere. It creates light and produces heat. It is powerful energy. It is transformative. It turns solid into liquid and raw into cooked. It's a state changer. You've heard the term, "she melted my heart." Often it is associated with magic, turning dark spaces into light. It can be dangerous. It can be mesmerizing and luring. It can burn, destroy. It can be sacred and revered. When mishandled or misunderstood, it can rage out of control. When focused, honored, given conscious attention, and channeled appropriately, it can bring healing. That is the power of feminine energy. So, just think of that as not someone weak or less, but someone who brings life to those around her. All right, now I'm going to talk about what I view as what women should be like, especially biblical women. I told you I would ramble, so I'm rambling, right? Okay. So I already said feminine energy is strong. When I think of strong, I also think of strong emotionally, because I know a lot of, well, my pet peeve is women who can't just like deal with things, you know, and they get so bent out of shape and can't just like think through a problem and just believe that even if this huge situation is here, we don't have to overreact. We can deal with it. We can pray. We can, you know, so strong emotionally. And this is to the guys. Don't go for a girl who is super, super clingy and always needy and like is very emotionally weak. I mean, that's going to cause a lot of problems later in life. Now I'm going to think about all of the guys I know who married girls that have totally destroyed them. You know, me and Timothy actually have a lot of friends who, like, they were so desperate to get married, and yeah, that's awesome, but now when I look at them, it's really, really sad. I mean, so many instances, and this is why me and Timothy are so bent on talking about this all the time and harping on everyone, because so many of our friends have just not listened to counsel, not even our counsel, anyone's counsel, and just done things their own way, and now their lives are just like a shell of what they used to be. Okay, another thing, a good woman to look for, I guess I'm talking to the guys and girls, be this kind of woman, someone who pampers those around you, okay? Not like annoyingly dote on them, but make sure that everyone's okay. Like, pay attention to more than yourself. See if someone's not feeling well, ask them how they're doing. If they have a frown on their face, try to make them feel better, you know? Give them a hug. That's what us women should be doing, like nurturing other people. And not only that, but allowing ourselves to receive that as well. A lot of women are very cold. I guess women, girls, whatever, females be cray. But we have to not just be so cold, but actually receive, like, when people are trying to reach out to us. You know, like, don't just say, I'm fine. It's okay to open up. It's okay to say, I'm not fine, I had a really hard day, I'm really upset, I'm really, blah, blah. I mean, not unload, but be honest. Another thing is to take care of yourself. One thing, I was with someone yesterday, and they totally don't take care of themselves. They don't eat right, they do things to their body that are totally horrible, they're on all kinds of medication, but I walk into their house and guess what? They have fish, big fish that are living really well. They have a dog that's really healthy. They have plants in the winter. Do you know how hard it is to keep a plant in the winter? It's very hard. A tropical plant, I have like 3 that are dead in my bathroom right now. It's hard. But this person takes care of all those things, and their house is like way cleaner than mine's ever been. And I'm like, what? I told this person, your house is amazing. Your animals are flourishing under you. Take good care of yourself as you do everything in your care. And she was like, oh, okay. I'm like, just think of yourself as my friend who you need to take care of. And she's like, oh, okay. And that's what I think of when I think of my mom. She took care of everyone, like, and that's how my sisters are. They'll just, like, you sit down and they'll bring you coffee and everything, like, oh, massage my back. Okay, okay, do my hair, you know, like, that's what I love. I love it. I love being pampered, and I love pampering them too. And guys, when you do get a good girl, pamper her. Come on. I really cannot stand guys who don't treat a good woman like she's a good woman. That's so pathetic. I mean, come on. Like women just need a little bit of love and attention. They just need to know that, hey, guess what? You thought about me like for 2 minutes when I wasn't around. That's why women want like a text message saying I love you during the day or something. How hard is that? How hard, huh? It's not hard, but it's important and it matters, right, honey? Yes, 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 Twan. Yes. Amen. Amen. Yes. So that I get a lot of strength from that. Like if you read Proverbs 31, which I am going to do at the end, stole my thunder, but that's okay. It's not like she just sits at home and keeps her mouth shut and cooks. Not at all. Like that woman is like crazy. That woman does all kinds of crazy stuff. Andre, did you have your hand up, or was that a hallucination? Okay. One thing, okay, also femininity, I would say, allows a man to be a man. If you're with a girl, or if you're a girl, I'm not pointing at you, I'm just pointing, okay? Okay. If you're the kind of girl who maybe feels like you're better than a man at, whatever, like maybe you're smarter, maybe you're faster, maybe you're tougher, that's me, okay? I was always tougher than every guy I know. Right. Until Tim, no, I can't arm wrestle that. I can't arm wrestle him. But just because you may be all those things doesn't mean you have to put a guy down to make yourself feel better. You don't have to make someone feel worthless just because you think you're competent. In fact, I'm not against equal, male and female, whatever. I am against some aspects of feminism, but I think a lot of it is misunderstood. But anyway, I think anyone who has to constantly say, I'm equal, I'm equal, I'm equal, is very insecure. Yeah. And to me, I don't think you need to always be proving that. I mean, we're definitely different. We don't have to constantly be bringing it up. Now, people should not be degraded or treated badly, but I've always think that people who are always standing up for themselves definitely feel inadequate, like in certain ways, if you're being overtly aggressive about equality. Andre? Do I think it's good? I don't think so. I mean, in joking, but it probably would get annoying. Well, lots of girls can make grown men cry, I can tell you that. So, no, I don't think if you feel like you're competing with your spouse all the time, then you're not on the same team. And you shouldn't be together, I don't think. You, Timothy? Yeah. 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 Oh yeah, this reminds me, I'm gonna forget this. This is totally not, but a lot of times I've been around women who talk about how pathetic their husband is, okay? And they're like, the Bible says to submit and respect him, but would you submit and respect him? And I'm like, you married him, okay? You're the one who chose that to be your spouse. So, hello, you get what you deserve. Right, but don't date someone that you think is a total lowlife. Don't date someone who you don't respect. Seriously, girls, if you think a guy's a loser, why are you with him? I'm not looking, I'm trying not to look at the couples, it's like, no. What, Cliff? Right. I would say, that's why it's good that most of you are single. Pretty much Yeah? Because now you get to choose. This is the best time to like come up with what you want your life to be, because now you're making those decisions. I mean, seriously, I know somebody who got married a few years ago, and they had to rush their husband to the hospital a few weeks ago because he's a cutter and he totally gashed his arm, and she knew that ahead of time, and she just didn't want to deal with it, and she was like, well, he's cute, he'll grow out of it. I mean, that's not cute. That's not cute when you find your husband in a pool of blood, you know? That's awful. Well, Luke and then you. Yeah. You know what, honestly, if you hear about, there are a lot of cultures that still do that, like arranged marriages and stuff. It's very contractual, and they stay together. Like they don't, there's a lot of like hidden stuff that goes on with, people outside their marriage, but a lot of people talk about you learn to love your spouse and that they have a way lower rate of divorce, but it's way more frowned upon. Okay. Tavon. Yeah, good question. I would, yeah, I would say it goes both ways, but I mean, there's a lot of, yeah, I will cover that. And I would say that a lot of times women can enable their husband under the guise of, but I'm submitting to him, he's the leader. And I've seen that a lot too. Like, yeah, false submission when actually it's just fear because they don't really want to stand up and they're codependent. It's like, oh, I need him to be like this so I can be whatever. Let's see. Okay. A lot of women are, well, what are some things that you have seen that really turn you off about women? Like, let's talk about we're not talking about exterior. Let's talk about interior. Because that would be awkward. Because we didn't do that to guys, Cliff. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that Facebook is out of control, man. I am so glad Facebook wasn't around when I was 14. Praise the Lord for that. Wait, I kind of lost it. What? What? Oh. I call Timothy bro, and he gets so mad. He's like, I'm not your bro. I'm like, it's over there, bro. And he's like, I'm not your bro. Even today. Yeah, I'm always joking. Okay. What are you doing? Tavon, what were you going to say? Mm-hmm. Overconfident. Okay. Interesting. Because usually confidence is like the number one thing. It doesn't matter what you look like as long as you're competent, right? Isn't that what we read in all those magazines? Anthony. Yeah.
This is kind of like really, I guess in a way, shallow. But
Well, we expect that from you.
I've been,
I'm kidding, Anthony. I'm totally joking. I'm joking.
I even thought this before there's people like, maybe it's just me, but when girls swear, and like they always, like, enunciate the swear words as if like it's a means of communicating that they're intimidated.
Oh, okay.
And I see a lot at work.
Uh-oh.
Girls, and it's like, you don't have to prove to me that like,
You're a sailor?
that you're outspoken. You know what I mean? Like, how many hear what you say when you swear?
Interesting.
I guess, but the same thing for dudes though. Swearing is usually
Yeah. I know. There's a lot of things that can damage you, for sure. Cliff. Ooh. I think, yeah. When anyone is. Oh. Anyone else? Any girls? Come on. I've got, like, I wrote a whole list of things I don't like about girls. Luke? Yeah. Did you guys hear that? What? No. Oh my word. Okay. Yes. No. That's a big one. Yeah. Katie, did you have your hand up? What? Ooh. Isn't that evil? Yeah. Amber? Yes, gossiping. That's the worst. Cleaning? Clingy, yes. Anybody else? I wrote a whole list. Nathan? Dressing provocatively? See, that's surprising. You don't expect guys to say that, right? It's like, what? What? One other. Yeah.
girls that don't need no man.
I hear you. Okay. All right. Well, I have a list. Y'all brought some up. Wait, who? Okay. All right.
So, when in a relationship, if you know, if it's usually going to be the girl, I would assume, because they're supposed to be married. But like, if they're like kind of relying on the man to be the Holy Spirit, like I'm
Right.
convicted about something. Oh, this is a good point. Now I'm convicted about something.
Yeah.
And like you never see her, you know, speaking out about what the Holy Spirit personally convicted her about. She's always following you around.
Yeah.
That's not submission.
Not at all. Okay, some of the things that I don't like are, and this is what a lot of my friends have married, and this is why, yes. One more. Okay. It's okay. It's Andre. It's okay. Go on. Yes, that happens a lot. Like, oh, I love football. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. And then when they're married, the woman comes in and turns the TV off. Yeah. No, listen. Listen, okay, I have a story about that. One of me and Timothy's really, really, really good friends for 10 years, okay? They were, like, they had recently broken up with their girlfriend of like 4 years, and they were online dating, which was behind everyone's back, because it was like, why are you dating? I don't know. But the point was, it was like a few weeks after they broke up of a year relationship, and all of a sudden, this guy's like, oh, I found the perfect girl. She is like it, and she's so godly, and you should hear the things that she says, and she's all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, what's her name? And girls are like way better than, you know, the CIA and FBI at research. Seriously. So I looked her up. On Facebook, and I scrolled for years, okay? And none of her posts were about Jesus or anything, okay? But then as soon as she met him, everything was about Jesus and Christian and all this stuff, and I was like, huh. So me and this guy's mom were like, she was like, you know what I noticed? That before she met him, she didn't ever post anything Christian, and now she's all about it. And I was like, yeah, I noticed that too. Well, now that dude's whooped, let's just put it this way. And he is like, oh, I wrote about it. Let me just read what I said. Okay. He was convinced she was wife material. She took over and totally changed him into her little slave. Instead of her coming alongside him and helping him to develop into the respectable leader God had made him to be, he is now just going through the motions and paying her bills. Every time I see a picture of him now, I see the look of defeat in his eyes. His passion is gone, and my heart breaks to see someone who I used to respect and love settling for a life of average fulfilling of the American dream. Yeah, it's really, it matters, you know, it really matters who you choose to share your life with. What else? Okay, sorry, as far as girls, like some of you said, ones who mainly only focus on looks and are totally competitive with other women about that. You guys don't know how competitive girls are. It is ridiculous. It's like you walk by a girl and she'll look you up and down like 4 times and then find the one flaw and just be like, like focus on it, like, yeah, I don't like that. Anybody like that? Anybody like it?
Remember Megan? Everyone made a big deal on Megan Fox's mom. What do you think? Like,
What?
Because, like, okay, like, I used to love Transformers. That's why I say this.
Okay.
Like, I guess she had, like, surgery on her thumb and it looked weird. I'm like, y'all have to sit here in front of her thumb.
I've never heard that. Wow.
I didn't know it until the internet told me.
That's weird. But no, that's how girls are. Another thing is women who abandon caring. Okay, so that's one extreme, but also the other extreme is women who abandon caring about themselves and constantly look like they have a hangover, you know, like hangover hair, hangover eyes, and stuff like that. It shouldn't. If you've given up on life.
Yeah, that's a stereotype.
But you know what? Out of all these women that I read about from the Bible earlier, I was surprised. Sarah was really attractive, obviously, if 2 men tried to marry her, 2 other men when she was like 90.
Maybe this is more for someone like who's studying, like, kind of like.
Oh, what do you mean? No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm comfortable.
Area of the Bible, but like, if they lived to like around 800 to 900 years old in that time, do they look like a 90-year-old to us today, or do they look like a 20-year-old?
I don't know, but Sarah lived to be like 120. So she was on the ladder. Sarah, not Eve. Sarah. Abraham's wife. Yeah, they only lived like Timothy. How long did Abraham live? Like 120 years? They were like not over 200, right? It was like 150 or younger. Yeah. So Okay. Very old. Like, read it in somewhere in Genesis. Okay, so back on the point about it matters. Esther, do y'all know about Esther? She was like the hottest woman in the whole nation. I'm serious. She won like Miss Universe. Seriously. Her and like thousands of other women paraded in front of the king of the world, and he chose her. So she was obviously good looking. And she was also brave because she risked her life to save the nation. You read that story. There's lots of cool stories in the Bible about women. Girls, you should read it if you don't know. And guys, you should read it and think, nice. Okay. I also, a mean woman who's proud and says that she always speaks her mind and lots of times shouldn't, right? We all know that. But instead tears people down to prove she's not afraid of them, thus making everyone else afraid of her. That's not the kind of woman you want to be by your side. A woman who is afraid to be real around anyone else because she ends up keeping her mouth shut and no one knows the true her. That's the kind of girl you don't want to become, or you want someone who can be real with you, even if they've been through pain. A woman who manipulates a man with tears, is passive-aggressive, and gives silent treatment. I'm going to stop right now. That is my biggest pet peeve, is passive-aggressive behavior. I cannot, like, girls do that to me all the time, where it's like silent treatment, and then, passive-aggressive, they make comments that are here, but you can't call them on it because then it would just look like you're paranoid. Don't get with a passive-aggressive girl. And if you're passive-aggressive, deal with it and learn how to just be very honest, because that hurts people way worse than if you just are playing games and like throwing darts and then like innocent, oh, I have a halo. I'm perfect. Manipulating a man with tears. There's also girls who, like Nathan was saying, manipulate a man with her body. Do you know in the spiritual sense that's considered witchcraft? If you get someone to do something against their will, that's witchcraft. You're like casting a spell on them. That's evil. That is very evil. Manipulating, most of the time, but sometimes I've seen good men be very manipulated by women and almost destroyed. And she knew what she was doing. She did. And a woman, like Cliff said, a woman who does not develop her mind. I mean, women have like brains that are like a sponge. I don't know, if you're going to be with a girl, you want her to stimulate you mentally as well. Like me and Timothy, like he said, we took Greek classes together. Yeah, we did our Greek homework together. I took all the preacher boy classes. I was like the one girl in the preacher boy classes because I was like, oh, why not? If I'm going to marry this dude, I might as well know what he knows. So it was fun. Andre? Well, okay, if they marry a guy who's passive about worldview, but if you're passionate, I would say find someone who's passionate. Then I don't think that that's a good match. If someone doesn't mesh well with you, and if you feel like you're going to get bored later in life, don't even grow close to them, because you want someone who is like with Timothy. He's still a mystery to me. Like I know him, but he always like on Friday he told me crazy stories, and I'm like what? And crazy stories about his friends and him backing away and almost getting beat up by 4 guys. I don't know. He just always has crazy stories to tell me. Yeah. Don't spill everything all at once. Okay. All right. So let me go on. I told you I was rambling, but whatever. Okay. One thing that I think women should never do, and also men should look for a woman who's not going to do this, is enable them. You don't get with someone who's going to let you settle, and don't settle. Like, don't get with someone who's going to be content with sitting on the couch all the time, and you're like, I wish I could, be what you want to be in a metal band, right, or something, or what? Okay, well, what do you have? What's the dream of yours that you want to be? Or is that going too deep? A Christian? Okay. So, in that case, if that's what you want to be, a good Christian man, don't marry a girl, or don't even date, okay? Because marriage is way down the road. But I'm talking, don't even get connected to someone who, for instance, in your situation is going to be like, hey, Luke, you're reading the Bible, okay, well, let's go do something fun. Or you talk to her about what you learned, and she's like, okay, nothing to add to it, never asks you to pray with her, and just is like, oh, that's nice, let's go watch Cinderella, the new movie, right? Do not, it does look, I hear it's really sad, but, so in that case, you're going to be settling for someone who's not going to have you fulfill what you want to be, who's not coming alongside helping you be a better man, who's just going to let you, like for instance, I know someone who, the dude they were dating had a bad reputation for drinking all the time, okay? Well, eventually, but he always made clear, I'm not an alcoholic, I just like a beer at night to calm me down, like seriously. And so this girl marries this guy, and they're Christian, but then he stops going to church, but then, what doesn't he stop? He doesn't stop drinking. So they drink every night, drink every night, drink every night. Well, the girl has a personality that becomes addicted, and because she feels guilt about not being in church, not living the life that she thought she would have when they first got married, she starts to rely on drinking more, and eventually she's enabling and settling like every day, because she's like, oh, we're not going to church, okay, well then here, let's all have a beer with you, here's a beer, and you have to be with someone who won't let you get into that state. You have to be with someone who's like fighting for your soul just as hard as you are. Goals. Very, yes. Andre? No? Yeah. Okay. Okay. And Katie? Right. That is. Right. A lot of times it is, I would say, look at all the bad examples in your life and see what happened there. Like backtrack. Think about, how did that first decision get made? Why did they think that they were a good pair? Was it just a feeling? Because a lot of times you can see pain and devastation in people's lives, and backtrack and try to figure out. I mean, don't be afraid to ever, like, trust that God has someone out there for you, but backtrack and learn from other people's mistakes. That's what I was always doing when I was young. Let's see. All right, another one. Okay, a girl needs to know that she is valuable. And a lot of times we, as women, think that it's just from our looks, right? And a lot of times it's because that behavior is reinforced in our culture by guys, right? And women are so much more than just exterior. But a girl who knows what she is worth and does not allow others to detract from that. She knows what is appropriate and what is degrading. And what do I mean by worth? First of all, knowing God, believing that he exists and that he is her father. You know how to make someone's parents really mad is to trash talk their kid. Have y'all ever seen that? Have y'all ever made a parent really mad because you told on their kid, their precious little angel? I've seen some ridiculous stuff. No matter how awesome a parent is on the scale from not ever there to an amazing parent of the year, you trash talk someone's kid and you're going to see some crazy stuff. And think about God in that. If you believe God is your father and you're his child, and you're his daughter and you're being trash talked to or disrespected, that's not cool. Like, a lot of times I don't even have to fight my own battles because I say, you know what, God's my dad, he's going to handle this, you have to answer to him, you know? And that gives me, I feel valuable in that because I know that God has my back, and that's what 1 Peter talks about is women don't always have to be fighting and aggressive. We can just be quiet and give it to God and know that he's going to handle it. And I think that if we view ourselves as God's daughters, we're going to respect ourselves a lot better too, you know? Like, if you represent someone, like at my job, for instance, I'm in an environment, and I respect myself because I'm a professional, I'm a graphic designer, this is the corporate world, so I have to respect myself, whereas here I get a little silly and whatever. But depending on how you view yourself is also how you act. So guys, don't go for girls who don't respect themselves. And if you know a lot of girls who don't respect themselves, show them respect and start developing their value as women. Don't say, oh, this girl, she doesn't respect herself, so I can use her, like every other guy in the world has done. So let's see. I did kind of go all over. Timothy, what else should I add? To Vaughn's question? Okay, I need this. And then I'm going to finish by reading, like, the epic Proverbs 31. All right, who had their hand up? What? Okay, hold on 1 second. Devon, I'm answering your question. Okay, I've got it. All right, and okay, I'm just going to read. This is from 1 Peter 3, 1 to 6. In the same way, you wives must accept the authority of your husbands. Then, even if some refuse to obey the good news, your godly lives will speak to them without any words. They will be won over by observing your pure and reverent lives. Okay? So that's one, and you think, okay, the woman's just being quiet and doing nothing. Don't be concerned about outward beauty of fancy hairstyles, expensive jewelry, or beautiful clothes. You should clothe yourself instead with beauty that comes from within, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is so precious to God. This is how the holy women of old made themselves beautiful. They put their trust in God and accepted the authority of their husbands. For instance, Sarah obeyed her husband Abraham and called him her master. You are her daughters when you do what is right without fear of what your husbands might do. So that right there, you do what is right, not afraid of your husband. See what I'm saying? It's not you're his little slave. You do what's right. Between you and God, you answer to God, and you do what's right. So it depends. I mean, each situation is different. There are some things where some things you don't need to fight about, right? My dad always said, choose your battles, right? And other things, it's like, no, a woman cannot enable. Doing right. There are so many instances like, woman, go buy me some weed. No, I'm sorry. I will not. That's not that ridiculous of a example. It's not. Right. If you fear God, that might get you into some conflict, but this says in the end, your husband will be like, oh wow, you're going to win him over because you're not afraid of anyone but God. Andre. Yeah. That's like, that won't last at all. People are great and all, but yeah. 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 Cliff, did you have or were you just itching? Timothy, what? Okay. You're debating? Yeah. Okay.
The best advice I can give for women is if the woman's not the best part of you, on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have time to do that. And with all the things that may not
Yeah. Aww. And I think both of you, I think we would say didn't settle, because I think Cliff is a very respectable man, and I think Amber is a really awesome example of a woman. So I think in that, I think the main point for both, male and female, is don't settle. Don't overlook a lot of things that you know are going to catch up with you later in life, because they will catch up with you later in life. Yes. Yes. Exactly. I totally agree that a good woman will help her man become the best man that he can be, and a good man will help develop his woman, and to be, not just settled, like to find out more things that she enjoys and to flourish in those areas and to be able to reach out to other people. I think that's most women, Proverbs 31 talks about that, is to be able to reach out and bless people around you and bring life to them. So I'm going to read Proverbs 31. It's a really hard one to read. The king's mom wrote this to him. Okay, so this is a queen's advice. And she is saying what he should look for in a woman. And this is great advice. Can't argue with timeless wisdom, right? Okay. Who can find a virtuous and capable wife? Oh, wait. I'm going to read it from a different translation. Sorry. 1 second. No, because I read it in a different translation earlier, and the Message. It's poetic. hold on 1 second, guys. I meant to print it out, but I forgot. I don't do this for a living, so I'm allowed to mess up. Okay, wait, why did it go back? It's gonna fail? Oh, wait, now it's there. Okay, got it. Okay, this is starting in verse 10. A good woman is hard to find and worth far more than diamonds. Her husband trusts her without reserve and never has reason to regret it. Never spiteful, she treats him generously all her life long. She shops around for the best yarns and cottons and enjoys knitting and sewing. She's like a... but she does more than that, okay? Listen to all she does. She's like a trading ship that sails to faraway places and brings back exotic surprises. She's up before dawn preparing breakfast for her family and organizing her day. She looks over a field and buys it. Then with the money she puts aside, plants a garden. Plants a garden. First thing in the morning, she dresses for work, rolls up her sleeves, eager to get started. She senses the worth of her work, is in no hurry to call it quits for the day. She's skilled in the crafts of home and hearth, diligent in homemaking. She's quick to assist anyone in need, reaches out to help the poor. She doesn't worry about her family when it snows. The winter clothes are all mended and ready to wear. She makes her own clothing and dresses in colorful linens and silks. Her husband is greatly respected when he deliberates with the city fathers. She designs gowns and sells them, brings the sweaters she knits to the dress shops. Her clothes are well made and elegant, and she always faces tomorrow with a smile. When she speaks, she has something worthwhile to say, and she always says it kindly. She keeps an eye on everyone in her household and keeps them all busy and productive. Her children respect her and bless her. Her husband joins in with words of praise. Many women have done wonderful things, but you have outclassed them all. Charm can mislead and beauty soon fades. The woman to be admired and praised is the woman who lives in the fear of God. Give her everything she deserves. Festoon her life with praises. Festoon. I think that means declare.